that's really important when you're going through any type of transformation or change. There's always going to be moments of solitude where there's parts where you have to go alone, but you're not the only one that's experiencing that part in their journey, and you can have community based on that. So just um, being more aware of not just the physical ways that we need to do better, like as far as our health goes, but the mental and the emotional and the spiritual ways that we need to do better for ourselves so that we can truly heal and truly come together and heal together. Because healing can't happen in a vacuum. It can't happen in complete isolation. Because then that creates an imbalance. Now you're hoarding, right? Now you're hoarding this energy and you're not giving back anything. You're just taking, taking, taking. And so, that creates problems too. So
Speaking on the history and the community, um, you know, growing up, I have as much probably like, getting the alternative side, what people say is our history, and then the as well as what they teach us in school. But it wasn't until recently, like recent teachers I've seen say things that's like that really help you get to that understanding. And I'm like, wow, I could see like when they oh, we're just living in a tribe, but it's like, no, we're living in a tribe, and it's like, this person is a shaman, and this person is that, and that person is that, and everybody has a role. And when you're down, it's like I could go talk to this person. I could go. It's like the things that we debate and have discussions on in our community didn't really exist back then. It's like there is no single mom when everyone in the village looks out for every woman. And I feel like part of that imbalance is us really not having that community in those roles. It's like everybody's walking around, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what's my purpose? And it wasn't until I really started going back and looking like, okay, this is why we did this, and this is why we did that. It really helped with that, that understanding, because at times I could definitely do the isolation because kind of like all. And I never really understood the importance of community because I'm looking at my neighborhood. I'm like, well, this ain't no community.
right.
And then I'm looking at like my family and stuff. We ain't the greatest on terms. And family is what you make if anybody listening. Don't just have to be your blood family. So we're not the greatest on terms. So I didn't really have the understanding. So I'm like, okay, now this makes sense. And you kind of hear these things growing up. I know Jamaicans, a lot of older Jamaicans, they'll call older people like, Mata or Fada, or like the same way like Spanish people, everyone's like Papi or Mommy. And I never understood what that was. It's like because anybody who's a mom could be your mom, so you got to treat her like that.
Right.
When we lose them type of traditions, like you could see why things are the way that they are. So you don't have respect for somebody unless it's like I have a personal relationship with them.
Right. Right.
Versus having to understand it's like how we be like, that's my brother, that's my sister. It's like at one point it's like we really felt that way,
Right.
and we've kind of lost that. So I think because sometimes people could be asking, why do we turn to this history? It's like, why are we looking at these pyramids and these people in tribes and they got bows and arrows and sticks in their nose? It's like, we just try to get an understanding. I tell people, it's like, we just try to get an understanding of ourselves because they just us. This is just what we used to do, and how did we used to live and how did we used to heal? It's like we don't have the answer to those questions, but they lie in our history.
Right.
So if anyone's ever wondering why we go back or why we feel like, that's so important, it's because like that's where a lot of our answers are. How did I used to do that? We're saying Egyptian, we're saying India, we're saying whatever, but it will really just talk about us. We're just saying like what did we used to do?
Right.
Because we clearly forgot or we wouldn't be so out of balance.